okay, but you've done some things. I really admired that about you.
Thanks, Mike.
It's about character. There's a kind of character that like Spaz has. Spaz has amazing character.
He does.
That guy's taken a lot of crap in his life, and he's made the best of it, and he's a great guy. And you have a different kind of character where it's just a drive forward, and it's inspirational.
And for me, I look at a guy like you because I have a really hard time controlling my emotions. It's like it's impossible to look at me and not know exactly if I'm pissed off, if I'm sad, I can't stop crying. And you've always been that guy that has always been a rock for me when things were going bad. And I don't just mean when we were having struggles at the radio station for whatever reason. I mean, I always knew that if anything was going on in my life and I needed sound advice and somebody to talk to and vent to and a sounding board and somebody that I just knew would be willing to just listen, even if it's just because I needed to yell at somebody or bitch to somebody, that I knew without question that I could always come to you. And you were my partner in crime here for so long. And I love that about you, that I knew that no matter what, no matter the time, the day, the place, that I could come to you and say, Mike, I need you to listen to me and I need you to help me solve this problem. And you would. And I love you for that.
Because you're my sister.
I know.
People have work wives. I have a work sister.
You do.
And we'll fight for each other. And whenever someone was picking on me, my sister would come and take care of them. And
that's going to be one of the hardest things, is not seeing you every day.
Oh, you'll get used to it pretty quick.
I don't
sure.
know. I might just start camping out in front of your house. I'm sorry to your family.
That's okay. I'm worried about my neighbors. My family knows you.
Yeah.
My neighbor's like, who's that? Should we call the cops?
Why is she sitting in the yard, rocking back and forth, hysterically crying?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, we have our boss here. And I hate to do this to you, Joe.
No, you're not. It's not a boss thing.
I know.
It's not your boss.
You are, though.
No.
No, for the next 35 minutes.
That's not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the fact that, we'll get into it. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, I just say, we got you here. I do have to play these commercials.
Do it.
Do I have to, boss?
I don't care.
Really?
I'm not the boss.
Well,
do what you want.
I don't want to get the boss in trouble either.
Yeah,
we don't want him to get in trouble.
That's right.
He was very nice to let us do this.
People have been asking why we've been playing commercials, and it's because these advertisers wanted to stay with us till the end.
Yeah.
And
God bless them.
And you know what?
Thank
you guys.
For
So let's
family.
do them and come back. Guys, we are taking the last half hour of WAAF. You got to stay with us because we're riding it right to midnight.
Right. All right. We'll be right back.
It's often said.
To former employees. I guess we're going to be all former employees pretty soon. But we got Mike Branchiforti back here. We spoke this morning when we went on at 10 o'clock.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
Did you guys even take a pee break yet?
I don't think
barely.
I have. I don't know.
So that's what's on the floor. Okay.
We're so
That's right,
dehydrated.
yeah. I'm doing the Bob Hanna method.
Yeah.
Over here.
We learned that in his confessional earlier.
As I stated earlier in the day, Mike B is the guy who trained me when I first came to WAAF in a very unique way, kind of like throwing the baby into the pool to teach it how to swim.
Yes. Learn to swim.
I just remember that you've done all this before, right?
A couple of times.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be back. But
you did just fine.
I figured
I may
it
have
out.
listened while I was at Rocco's.
I figured it out. But how long have you been here?
This time around, I just hit 11 years, and then I did 8 or 9 before that. So it's just 19, close to 20.
Just as long as us.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And Mike Branchiforti was the music director before me and kind of handed those reins over to me when we left the first time.
I was trained by John Osterland on a computer.
Right. Good luck.
I know. It's
That's
amazing.
why everything is so screwed up.
Yeah.
But you've been overnight guy for forever.
I started off as the overnight. It was actually my very first full-time job, period. I was, that was the first full-time job I ever had in my life was overnights here at AAF. And then for a while, I worked with Rocco for a while.
Yes, you did. It was Rocco and Mike.
Yep. And
I told the story earlier, by the way.
I heard it.
Okay. I promised you this morning that I would tell the Rocco story.
I love that story. He was something. But yeah, I came back and hi, I'm here.
Yeah. I remember that after that first night, we were leaving the building. You're like, all right, you did a good job, and I said, I'll see you tomorrow night. And you're like, hey, you smoke weed?
Did I say that? Are you sure that was me?
Yeah, I think that was you, maybe. I'm not sure. But, yeah, it started a great friendship. And then I saw you every morning coming in, working for the morning show.
Yep,
You
that
did
smiling face of yours at 4 a.m. coming
4
through the door.
But you did a lot of hard work for the morning show, too, for the Hillman Morning Show. I want to let people know that Mike Branch at 40 really put a lot of effort.
Only when you were part of the show.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Okay.
I appreciate
So
that.
we're clear.
But he put in a lot of effort for that morning
And you've
show.
always
I appreciate
been
that.
somebody that we could count on to solve problems, come in when somebody was sick. You've been that utility player, and usually that person doesn't get the credit that they deserve. And you have always been somebody that worked double shift, never called in sick, was just somebody that just was always here for the love of it.
You're not going to make me cry.
I know I'm not. Maybe. I might cry.
I'll make you
but
cry.
I just...
I ate your sub in the fridge.
I just, you know, there's always that saying, like, the squeaky wheel, gets the oil or something like that. You were never like that. And I don't know if we ever told you enough how much you meant to this place and how appreciated you were, but we only have till midnight, and I wanted to make sure that I took the time to do it.
Well, thank you.
Because you are one of those people, the silent heroes that help to keep this place together. And you deserve all of the credit in the world for doing that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I was kind of one of those people I'd kind of just like to be unseen, because I always thought if no one sees me, I'll get in less trouble.
That's right.
And it didn't really work out that way so much. No.
Well, I appreciate all the help, Mike.
No problem,
Really,
guys.
all the help.
Thanks for having me.
All the time.
I had to show up at the end because, I just woke up. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
you're not
be
doing
here.
overnights tonight.
Hey, well,
we're not going to be on the air.
I'm so
Why
used
don't
to
you
those
do that?
hours.
Just so you know, you're fired too.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
And I ate your sub.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
for coming in. I'm glad we could talk to you, before we switch over at midnight.
Yes, and wait till you see what happens at midnight.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Well, listen, we got to play some more commercials.
We're going to play the commercials because there were so many suggestions about, everybody's been asking what the final song is.
Yeah.
And when this is done, we're going commercial free for the rest. And we've picked out the final song. And so when we come back, we're going to get ready to send this thing off right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called a tease.
You like that?
Oh, that was
Learn
very
from the
well
best,
done.
baby.
You are
Learn
awesome.
from the
You're
best.
awesome. When you go to the doctor, about 17 minutes left of what we know as WAAF, and I want to invite a new voice on with us. His name is Joe Calgaro.
And I've got a funny story for you guys.
All right, Joe.
Ready? Yeah,
I'm ready.
It's really good stuff. You'll appreciate it.
Okay.
So I've been doing rock radio now for just over 30 years. Started in 1989. I was working at this Cush gig in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the last 7 years or so. Worked for the Green Bay Packers. I know that's a big boo here in New England. But for 19 years, public address announcer at Lambeau Field. Loving life, raising the family, having a great thing going, and being a huge rock fan and radio fan. And I get the phone call from Boston one day, and they say, "You want to come work for WAAF?" And I said, who in the hell in this business doesn't want to go work for WAAF?
That's right.
So I flew out here, did a job interview, met both Mike Shue and Mistress Carrie during that job interview process. I don't know how you didn't think that I had two heads or something like that, because somehow I ended up getting the job. I remember telling you, Shue, that when I flew in that night, I had nothing else to do, so I figured out how the T works, and I took it over to Fenway, bought a bleacher ticket, and just watched a Red Sox game.
Points.
Yep.
And Shue goes, "You did that?"
Instant mass
I'm like,
cred.
I go, "I'm from Chicago, man. The T's nothing." And it was great going to Fenway, having a great night. Anyway, they say, "Yeah, we want you to come out here." So what do? We packed up the family. I got 3 kids. I got an amazing wife of 26 years. I said, let's go to Boston. Let's be a part of this legendary radio station. And now here we are.
Yeah. And here we are.
What a great move that was.
That was, the foresight and the,
People wonder
Really.
why we're so angry here.
Right.
Now you know why.
yeah.
So what I want, my only story I want to tell, because I have a ton of confessions I could offer, but none of them have to do with AAF. I've got Tommy Chong stories on Kenny Wayne Shepherd's tour bus, and I mean, like, all kinds of great
That
stuff.
sounds like a good one.
But the story I want to tell is the fact that I was brought out here to work behind the scenes in more capacities than just WAAF. But one of the things that our boss, Mark Hannon, saw as a vision for this radio station, as things were changing, Carrie was talking about change, and how Greg Hill leaving the radio station and some turnover here, and kind of what's the direction. And Mark said, I want you, meaning me, and Carrie and Shu to put a vision together and take AAF into the future for the next 50 years. And I went, it gets no better than that. That's my dream.
We've been dreaming for somebody to say those words.
And so, you know, my family gets out here in July. The three of us are planning. We're putting things together. The reason I'm on right now is, Mike, you and I were going to start an afternoon show together on March the 2nd of this year, so a couple weeks.
Calgaro and Shu.
Calgaro and Shu.
We have photos.
We do. We did a full photo shoot.
You guys did a whole photo shoot. A couple of those pictures are inappropriate.
Absolutely amazing.
There were hot dogs involved.
And Mike almost kissed me in one shot.
Oh, it's great.
It's a little disturbing, and Mike is really excited about it.
I'm using it for the save the date card.
But one of the biggest regrets I'll have in this business is not being able to see what our vision was going to end up.
We worked so hard.
So hard.
And
you don't know that Mistress Carrie was here till midnight so many nights. That Mike Shu was here adding music into our library and into our system, because we were taking the musical direction back into the days of WAAF taking more chances and risks and breaking bands like Shinedown and like Godsmack and looking for those next new bands like Ice Nine Kills from right here in Boston.
Dirty Honey and Dinosaur Pile Up and so many.
And we all get the call into the meeting on Tuesday, and they just said, it's over. They sold us. Sorry. And that's going to be my biggest regret. And I don't want to go much more beyond that, because you have been here for the history of this radio station. But I will say, in my 30 plus years of doing this job, other than my soul brother back in Milwaukee, who I've worked at for the last 3 jobs, and we've been a team, and we were an afternoon team and a programming team and everything else, and I will love Borna Velic till the day I die. I have never worked with 2 other better people than Mike Shu and Mistress Carrie, and that is going to be the regret that we don't get to see this vision through with the 3 of us.
We worked so hard to build the AAF that everybody always told us that they wanted us to be.
Yep.
The listeners, we heard you.
Absolutely.
We got all your criticism and all your suggestions, and trust us when we tell you that we built that station for you. And it's in a computer right now.
It was a week and 3 days away from going
close.
on the air.
We're so close.
Carrie was going to Vegas next week, coming back March 2nd.
March
this
2nd,
whole
we were
thing was
hitting the
going to
air.
roll out. Mike Branzaforti, who's in here, he was going to be the new morning show on this radio station, was going to surround himself with a cast of characters. We were going to have a night host. Jim Ryan was going to be on breaking new bands and
We were
new
getting
rock
rid
at
of the
night.
men's room.
Men's room was gone.
See ya!
Bye-bye. Stay in Seattle. So that's the regret. That's the hardest thing to take in this whole thing.
That we never had a fighting chance.
Never had a fighting chance.
Correct. Because we got a lot of fight in us.
Yep.
And even though this is happening, and I know for sure you do, Carrie,
Yeah.
you will have fight in you forever.
I'm fueled by hate and caffeine, baby.
And that's why I was excited, because I was with people who like to fight.
Yep.
You know, and I knew that we would fight together and we would have each other's backs.
And it was going to be special.
And it was like that when I first got here.
Yep.
This is like a gang.
Yep.
And we'd go out on the street, like the
like all those people
the
we talked
promotions
to.
people
Correct.
we talked to would go out on the street and they'd just scrap, you know, and they'd literally get into physical confrontations with other radio stations, defending the honor of this radio station.
That's right.
And I appreciate all that.
Absolutely
all of it.
right.
And you guys talk about fight. For us to be able to be on the air for the last 2 days and to be on the air right now to get ready to send this thing off the way it deserves, Joe, you and Mark Hannon, who's only been with us about 1.5 years, that fight had to be made all the way up the chain to prove that trusting you and I to take this station for the last 2 days and to do the right thing and to be respectful and so that we could do what everybody wanted us to do, which is to take the time to thank everybody. This gift that they have given us, I will never know how to repay Mark Hannon and Joe for the gift of being able to be here right now.
Yeah.
Because we could very easily gotten walked out of here on Tuesday and be sitting at home right now listening to the station go black by a computer. And instead, we're here right now. And Joe, I don't think you will ever understand how much I appreciate this gift that you've given us. And Mark Hannon, I know you're listening right now, hoping in the next 10 minutes we don't yell the F word. So that we...
Mother... Oh, what the fruit?
But Mark, you know what? It's not cool to love the suits, but if there's a suit in this building to love, it's you, man. And we love you, and you are one of us no matter what. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
And you know what? I know he gets us because he's had to go up against us before.
Yeah.
Running, BCN and
Absolutely.
the Sports Hub and stuff before that merger.
He gets us.
Yeah, and he got, what a powerful, powerful gang he got.
Before I turn it over to you two to take it the rest of the way into the last song, I just want to say the line that Gene Hackman used at the end of Hoosiers. I love you guys.
We love you too, Joe.
Love you too, Joe. I know you came here with the warrior spirit to get us going, and you pushed it, man. There's no doubt about that.
We've run through fire for you.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And before we go, the listeners.
You guys.
The people who made it so I could work here for 20 years.
You guys have been texting and calling and just so supportive. There's a whole gang of people that just showed up at the radio station. We put speakers out there so they could hear us. We are nothing without you. And for as much as you've been telling us that you love us, we love you so much. And you have given us this dream life that we never would have been able to have without you.
And I've never experienced, and I've worked at a few radio stations, I've never experienced the intensity and the passion and just the craziness,
Yeah.
which I love so much about our listeners. They're so passionate, and they would do anything to help us, and they have.
Yeah.
They've done a lot to help us help other people, and
So
we'll
just
eternally be grateful for
Just
that.
know that Monday when you're missing us, we're missing you.
Yeah.
You guys need to know that. And
Yeah.
we asked for a lot of suggestions about what our final song should be. And we got thousands of responses.
Thousands.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of debate. It's a heavy burden to try and decide what is going to send WAAF out after 50 years. How do you pick one song?
Well, we went back to the year we started, 1970, when we became an FM rock station. And an artist who's been a core artist for us, a staple in our playlist that whole time.
And an album and a song that is credited with basically being the first heavy metal album
Right.
and the first heavy metal band.
Also turning 50,
Yeah.
just like us.
And an artist that's still out there doing it right now, fighting through everything tooth and nail, trying to hold on to that one last moment, that one last show, that one last everything. And so we hope that you're happy with what we picked, because we didn't think there was another song, especially to where we're going at midnight on 107.3.
Yes, it's an excellent song for the segue into the new format. It was handcrafted, especially chosen for that. So,
So, you know what we've been saying? WAAF, the family, head up, shoulders back, horns up. We're going out proud because we were all part of something special.
we were. It was awesome.
And we love you so much.
We do. We love you guys, and we thank you so much for all the support.
There's only one way to go.
Yeah.
There's only one way to do it.
Loud,
In your face,
evil,
groundbreaking, influential,
and cheap, as we learned.
yeah, cheap and fast.
Cheap and fast.
And if you're going to invent a genre of music and inspire generations, to all of the bands that have been inspired because of this band and this album, to everybody that has called us, every band we've ever played, every employee we've ever had, everybody that's ever listened to this radio station, this is for you. We love you
We love you,
so much.
and thank you.
Thank you for everything. And one last time, baby, wherever you are, roll your windows down.
Crank it up!
Area
there you have it. 107.3 WAAF went off the air on the FM airways in a traditional Rock Rebellious style. But how did this happen? How did the format change, and why the secret? Like many people, I have years vested in the brand that was at WAAF and enjoyed it for many years. I was never a groupie, I was never an employee, or even a past employee. I'm just a guy living in New England that loved the music that wasn't played anywhere else. Being a bit of a rebellious teen, I ventured away from my country music upbringing, shedding that twang of the fiddle that was part of the old country music when it was Western, that evolved into a loving of sharp guitars and basses that helped feed my rebellious soul and turned into something different, and AAF was largely at the center of that change. For me, once the news broke out on social media, I sensed what BCN fans must have felt back when they went off the air. However, when BCN were not given the send-off that Endicom gave the staff of WAAF, a testament to the brand that loved its loyal listeners that AAF catered to, and that they were given the last 48 hours to send the station off in a rock fashion to bid their on-air goodbye. Black Sabbath's Black Sabbath played as the station call letters were echoed by Mr. Scary, Mike Shue, and Joe Calgaro as the last track began to play. At midnight, this music changed, but nothing inside of me changed. It all seemed that I needed AF music and that the personalities that made up the brand. Sure, radio is changing. Sure, you can stream any station you wish. I can also buy an XM radio, but there's something about tuning into my Alpine deck on the radio that appealed to me more. I have inputs on my Alpine and a CD player that can play music from my own media by FM radio, had the right mix of important local news, local traffic, while mixed with the kind of music that I connected to. Few have signed on in my campaign to attempt to buy back the antenna frequency 107.3 FM. I still believe it's possible. The money raised will pay back EMF up to $15 million for the frequency, and that to open the door for WAAF or Intercom to resume broadcasting. If this doesn't get the support that I'm willing to give it, then as many have stated, I will not change back. I think there's a chance, and I'm willing to try. If you feel like I do, and reeling from the loss of the great station, then I encourage you to join me to bring heavy metal or rock music back to New England, just the way AAF used to. Please join me in signing up for my GoFundMe campaign to bring back WAAF, the only station that really rocks, back to New England. Alright, thanks for taking your time and listening. Have a great day.
My friend.